Right. Looks like we've got some people watching, so we'll get this commentary underway. So, here we are in Germany then, and it looks like a scramble for track position at the current stage. As you can see, it is raining here in Hockenheim. Of course, the track that's been hosting the German Grand Prix has been alternating for the past 7 years really, between Nürburgring and this track, the Hockenheim Ring. It's predominantly been used since 2014 really. Nürburgring was used in 2011, 2013, and Hockenheim 2012 and 2014 onwards to the present day. And of course next year it's also been announced that it will be on the calendar, which is lovely to see. Good track for racing, great history of course. Used to go through the forest, but of course where famously Jim Clark died that weekend alongside two other drivers, which unfortunately for them have kind of been overshadowed by one of the bigger names, Jim Clark, of course dying in the forest section. It was deemed too dangerous to go there, and of course that means the current track has been cut down to a very much shorter circuit, and the highest point on the track is turn 6, that hairpin. But anyway, Muxendit puts it on current pole position, and just drivers starting to get their laps in. Neo just goes quicker than Muxendit by about 1/10 of a second. So the Toro Rosso driver, the German, at his home Grand Prix, wanting to do well, I imagine. And TTG Lambo is the closest guy at the moment now, as he crosses the line to get to those 20s, the high 20s. Everyone in the top 6 is currently in the 21s, so no one yet to dip into those 1-minute 20s. Rickarich, the Finnish Force India driver, puts his car in P2 with a 1:21.1. And let's just have a look at our championship leader, Mitch Emery, who's currently not on track. So, very interesting. He's deciding to stay up. Perhaps that suggests the conditions are going to dry up and these guys aren't on track now, and they're just going out for the sake of it. As Joom is the first driver to get into those 1-minute 20s, a 1:20.995 in his Williams. Good from him. Again, one of those drivers, a bit like Neo, who has always been up there in previous seasons, and this year doesn't seem to really have the pace that he has done in previous Codemasters Formula 1 games. PRL Gary Donegan, Force India, teammates with Rick, puts it on current pole position. Very good from him. 1:20.965, just 3/100ths, separating himself and Joom. And wow, Rick makes it a 1-2 for Force India at the moment. Very good from him. And I do apologise. I've actually been a bit busy today, so I have to do the intro for the race now whilst I'm looking at qualifying. Quite lucky, it's quite a slow pace to start the qualifying, so I'm just writing the script now. And that's why I'm a little bit sparse with my commentary. Kalec Garis, he struggled a bit this season. He slides across the line to not improve on his time. Killer Blue coming through the section where, of course, Sebastian Vettel famously crashed his Ferrari into the grandstand right in front of all the Mercedes, Red Bull, basically all non-Ferrari fans, and that must have been quite difficult for him to swallow, and arguably where he lost the 2018 championship from then on. Let's end it. Mitch Henry's closest title rival coming into the final sector now. You can see the rain visually is getting much lighter. And it's pretty much dried up now. So, ooh, it's Kalec wrist. Didn't quite catch that, but obviously getting a bit out of shape into there. Oh, as he's put it in the gravel again, so struggling with tyre temps, I imagine. Joom is on an outlap, as is Marquez. Marquez is on the intermediate compound, as is Joom. So DRS gets enabled then. I'm gonna go on board with TTG Po for a bit, and as I write, just finish the script. And I do apologise about that. Just getting the script done, but I'm ready for the final part of qualifying. Spine puts his Sauber on the soft compound, currently P1. Now the track's all dried up. Who will go on what tyre? Well, every single driver's on the soft tyre, so not really any changes. Lee Finley puts his car P2 alongside his teammate Ollie in P3. Gary, although, just goes ahead of them, but 1,000th behind Spine, and I doubt he'll have enough time to go for another lap. But Spine holding on to this current pole position by 1,000th. I apologise, of a second. What about the championship leader? He's on lap now, and McSendit can only go P3, a good 10th behind his teammate. He would be hoping for more, and considering his rival Mitch Emery is about to end his lap now, he needs to try and be ahead of his Mercedes rival. Mitch coming across the line any moment now, a bit squirmish out there, but he goes P1 by 0.2 of a second to Spine, the closest competitor to him. So, all very interesting. Well, looks like it's wrapping up qualifying then. Mitch, I think, is on another lap. No, McSendit goes quickest. And that has thrown a few spanner in the works, hasn't it? McSendit goes P1 ahead of his rival Mitch Emery. Mitch Emery, I think he is on a lap though. He is pushing to the very end. Mitch Emery coming across the final two corners now. Coming across the final corner now. Is it pole position? Yes, it is. Great from Mitch Emery by 0.5 to McSendit. He snatches pole position from the American in the Sauber. And it looks like, and it is, yeah, pole position for the Brit in his Mercedes, and another vital pole for him to continue on his good momentum. It's McSendit in P2, 6/1000ths ahead of VSR Marquez, a driver we know likes to go for audacious moves and will not hold back, I'm sure, in the race. So the two championship rivals line up first and second, a little bit like Hamilton and Vettel, like they would do in real life most of the time. Neo making his return to the top in P4 with Lewis in P5 and Joom in P6. Spine in 7th, 0.3 off his teammate. Gary Donegan, good result for him in P8. Lee Finley 9th, and Killer Blue rounds out the top 10. So, very interesting qualifying, then going for wet to dry. But let's get ready for the German Grand Prix. Hello everybody and welcome to the German Grand Prix, located on the eastern edge of Hockenheim. It's 34 laps to make up this Grand Prix. The first World Championship Grand Prix to be held at Hockenheimring was the 2nd of August 1970. The circuit gives 17 corners for the drivers to negotiate. It's 11 to the right, 6 to the left, 37 World Championship Grand Prix have been held here in its history, including this year, and the driver with the most wins around here is the Iceman, Kimi Räikkönen, in his 2004 McLaren, a 1:13.780 with the average lap speed of 138.6 miles per hour. Originally being 4.2 miles and now being changed, the current circuit length is 2.8 miles, and the driver with the most wins around here is Michael Schumacher, ranging from 1995 to 2006. Probably bring the ultra soft and medium compounder race tyre to this venue. Obviously, the two jump of compound between the ultra soft and the soft will be very interesting for the strategy, and the most popular overtaking opportunity is on the run down to turn 7, down through Parabolica and into the hairpin. The track presents multiple viable opportunities for overtaking, and I cannot wait for this to get underway. This track, obviously very well known in 2010 when Ferrari team orders came into play, and the very famous race message given to the Brazilian Felipe Massa by his race engineer Rob Smedley: "Fernando is faster than you," and ordered to let him through. One of the most famous pieces of race radio from the years. But now we get ready to go on the eastern edge of Germany, 10 miles east of Vettel's home place where he bottled it in real life. Going into Sachs Curve, well, will any driver do anything similar? That's be interesting to know. They're around the final corner now, you can see, through Sud Curve, and then the run down to turn 1, Nord Curve. Parabolica is another famous track name, in the Mercedes Grandstand at turn 9 and 10, Mobile 1 curve at turn 11, and the Sachs Curve, as I just said, where Vettel famously crashed. But we get ready then for this race to get underway. Mitch Emery lines up on pole. McSendit, his championship rival, lines up alongside him. They're all on the same tyre in the top 10, the soft compounded tyre. It's 5 red lights. And it's lights out, and away we go. It's a good start from Mitch Emery, it seems like, but McSendit seems to get a better run into turn 1. Mitch has to give the room. McSendit corner cutting there a bit. Mitch having to track extend in order not to collide with his rival. We've got Marquez's and Lewis also side by side in turn, but McSendit gets into the lead going into turn 3, and now Mitch could be vulnerable to the Renault of Louis behind. Really good start from McSendit. He's done what he needed to do, but now we've got Lewis and Marquez's all challenging the top 2, and they could be 3 wide going into the hairpin. Mitch goes down the inside of his rival McSendit, and Lewis has come out on top. How on earth has that happened? But now Lewis is going to give McSendit that slipstream coming into turn 8 now, and McSendit is going to get ahead of Mitch for now, and he squeezes Mitch off the track, and he just about gets ahead. But it's not McSendit leading after the first 2 sectors, it's not Mitch leading after the first 2 sectors, it's not Odom, so neither of the top 3 in first. But look at Spine into P4. It is Lewis leading then after starting P4, I believe. Marquez gets back into 4th place, and very, very interesting start then. So I don't know where Lewis came from in all of that. They were all 3 wide going into the hairpin, and Lewis gets a good lead. What about Spine? He started 7th. He's had a very good start. Temporarily into P4, and now is challenging Marquez, who looks like he's struggling. But the Sauber, one Sauber attacking another car, the other Sauber looking to maybe defend from Mitch Emery. No, he's all right into there, but Spine will get ahead into the hairpin. But look at Lee Finley down the inside of both of them, and Gary trying to get his little stout snout involved there, and gets chopped off by Marquez's. Lee Finley up into P5. Where did he start? Oh, Marquez's really interesting lunge into there, and that's now going to be a domino effect behind as they all bunch up into here. Gary Donegan looking around the outside of Lee Finley. He can't quite do anything. On the other hand, we got look at this. Joom on the back of Gary. We've got Nia on the back of Joom. And we've got yellow flag somewhere on track. And it's Maxi Luca. He spun it XX curve. Not quite where Vettel did it, but on the exit this time. Oh, Calix involved in that as well. So I'm wondering if the Mercedes and the Toro Rosso had an incident there. Very interesting to know what did happen. Lewis then leads after the first 2 laps. Mitch Emery and McSendit looking quite feisty on the back of him though. In fact, McSendit's caught up to Lewis quite dramatically by at least half a second in the past lap. Now Mitch is hanging on to him and it looks like McSendit's running slightly lower wings compared to the Sauber, who seemed to get away more than he was gaining to McSendit. Marquez's and Lee side by side. Marquez's gets past quite easily there, but look at this. Lewis seems to be struggling for pace just a tad. McSendit hunting him down, but he's also got Mitch Emery hunting him down, so it's a domino effect then. As they head into Sachs curve, and they all go single file. Also got more yellow flags. What's that for? And it's Calix Riss. He's going backwards in Parabolica. And getting around again. Don't know how he spun it there, to be honest. But each their own. Lewis having to defend for all his might then as they head down the straight. And McSendit's very close to Lewis, but Mitch is also very close to McSendit. Will McSendit down the outside? No, he won't. Reminds me a lot of the Hamilton and Bottas fiasco in real life. And now Mitch Emery is right on the back of McSendit. McSendit with the alien indicator, so they'll have to watch out with that. But Mitch Emery keeping it single file. Is that Calix Risk? Yes, it is. So I really don't know what he's doing, but he's coming up to the leader, so better be careful, because that could really have big implications. The top 3 will get past fine, but now he's got 4th place and lower all coming up to his diffuser. And I'm sure he'll peel off to the pit lane now. On those medium compound. No, he doesn't. He does stay out, so no damage for the Toro Rosso, but just very, very slow and not managing to get a lap together. He's going to have blue flags on the top of his screen, and he does let through Spine just about in time there. But Lewis cannot pull away. We've seen this so much on this game. He cannot. Well, it's very hard to pull away when the slipstream and DRS is a thing in the dry conditions, and Lewis has proven that now, unable to pull out a gap of which he will not be pressured every single lap on that straight by the 2 behind him. Although the top 3 have managed to break away from Spine in 4th, so Spine doing his best, I'd say, to catch up to the top 3 to aid his teammate into getting into the lead. Marquez goes very wide, but there's yellow flags due to something else. I'm not sure what for. I believe it could be Calix Wrist. Well, he goes very wide, but look at this, they're all so close. And people asking for the tyre graphic. I'll give that for you now. So everyone in the top 10 is on the soft tyre. And oh, I think Maxi Luca and Calix have collided again. So very interesting there. I don't know what Calix up to. Maxi has to pit due to that, and that's going to mean Mitch, if he wants to pit now, which I highly doubt it, will be unable to. But Mitch looking very close to the back of McSender. Let's get their ARS data up, as they say in Australia. Lewis having to defend properly this time from McSender, and now Mitch has managed to get a far better exit down here into turns 8 and into the Mercedes grandstand. Now Calix Wrist retires, and well, not really too surprised by that, but these 2 battling has not really allowed Lewis to get away. Normally you'd say it's allowed him to get away, but he just seems to be lacking pace, it seems, out on the race circuit. on this fine sunny afternoon in Germany. It seems like this could be a 3-horse race for the race victory. Lewis not really in the championship fight at all. It's these two, McSendit and McEmery, the two M's in the Sauber and in the Mercedes. And in real life, those two are normally on the opposite end of the timings, but this time they're both fighting out at the top, of course, with equal cars. McSendit on overtake mode, Mitch not really pushing on the ERS mode. We know he likes to conserve his ERS just a little bit more. Lewis picking to defend there, Mitch doing a pretty much identical move to last lap, but unable to get alongside this time. So Lewis kind of defending from the dive bomb that McSendit could perhaps do to the Renault driver into there, and that kind of boxes him into the outside of the hairpin. So they come into Mobile 1 curve now, into Sachs curve, and again all single file, so no changes between the top three, even though they've all been nose to tail for the past 4 laps at least. They've all been getting very, very close. They've all got DRS on each other, apart from obviously Lewis, who's in the lead. But no moves as of yet that substantiate an actual move. They've been side by side, but no executed moves. Lewis really seeming to struggle. I think he picked up a penalty at turn 1 as well at the Nord curve, and Maxi Luca retiring as well, so I think those two will be having some stern words after the race. I don't think those two have been best friends on track. McSendit puts it in the 0 ERS mode, locks up quite heavily into there, trying to avoid creaming into the back of Lewis, into that hairpin. So he is right on the back of the Renault then, but I've said this for the past 4 or 5 laps and nothing's come of it as of yet. But he's going to try his best to obviously get past Mitch, just doing what he needs to do. I'd say Mitch is in the driving seat at this stage of the race. He can stay behind these two whilst they battle it out. He can stay in the section of these two whilst they battle it out, and he can save ERS behind these two whilst they battle it out. And well, look at that, he's got substantially a lot more ERS than the top two, and that is going to help him later on after the pit stops and later on in this stint. McSendit picked up a penalty at turn 1 there due to corner cutting, and is now going to try and launch an offensive on Louis. It's Switzerland versus Renault in terms of the constructors, and he's going to go around the outside. Oh, there's a bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there. Reminded me of Austria turn 3 that we see oh so many times. But these top 3 so seldom going for a committed move. I mean, if you really wanted that move for McSendit's sake, you go to the inside. But no, he's seeming to prefer the outside perhaps. Lewis certainly isn't defending hard right into the hairpin, so it's not like he cannot go to the inside. It's just that he thinks it's better to pick the outside line, as we've got a lovely for that. As we have a lovely helicopter view then of these three all within well within a second of each other, and all nose to tail, but all struggling to actually make a committed move on the other. And well, it's really checkmate at this stage. We'll probably see McSendit go to the outside again. We do, so no change there. Lewis doing the exact same thing. I feel like I'm watching last lap again. He cuts back in behind the Renault at the exact same time. Mitch this time is alongside though, but obviously he's got a 40 odd point lead in the championship. He doesn't need to go for any audacious move. If anyone was doing that, be McSendit. But well, Lewis seems to be defending pretty well. The country obviously to the east of Renault's manufacturing department, and Switzerland slightly southern, I believe, and of course Mercedes at their home Grand Prix. Lewis has managed to pick up a slightly larger deficit to the two behind him as they went a bit more aggressively side by side there. Oh, as Lee Finley is out. Where could that be? As I scrambled to find my controller, I'm wondering. Oh, TTG Poe's going very slowly. Perhaps had a collision with him. And I believe Lee Finley. Oh, he's crashed it right there, so I don't know what's gone on there. Meanwhile, at the front, well, no real move is to be made as we've got a safety car. Oh wow, okay, I didn't really see that. I was wondering why they were all going so slowly. But the safety car has actually come out. So that's actually going to come and bite Mitch on the backside at the moment, because he's been saving all that ERS for later on, and now that safety car is going to allow everyone else to save the ERS. So the first full course caution, first full safety car since lap 1 in Bahrain, where that was that big incident. And well, this is really going to spice up this race. As we expect, then the top 3 all to pit from their soft compound tyre, the yellow striped compound that Pirelli bring. The medium tyre compound is looking to be going on most of their cars then. All 4 wheels being changed in pretty much sub 2.5 seconds for most of the drivers. McSendit, Mitch, Emery and Lewis all maintain their positions. Spine and Lambo then stay out on track. Spine due to his teammate pitting, Lambo choosing not to as he started on the white striped medium tyre. No need to pit, he can go even deeper into this race now, which is also going to benefit him. And well, it's a nice way just to calm this race down a bit after being pretty hectic. And all these drivers, well, it wasn't really a factor in last year's, well, for the past 7 years really, on these Codemasters games about heating up your tyres for the safety car restart, but this year it really is. Of course, the carcass temperatures come into play. You have a whole new section where your tyre temps, engine temps are all there, and you actually have to manage them in order for them to make a difference. And that's why you see all these drivers weaving and doing a few burnouts whilst they're at it, just to keep the temperature in there. You can't just have a quick burnout and then aggressive weaves towards the end of the safety car period. You now have to do it all throughout. Spine decides to pit, as does Lambo, so now it's the top 3 as they were when the safety car came out. Now on its... oh no! Spine's been given a disqualification, black flag, for ignoring yellow flags. So I don't know what's gone on there. Is it because he overtook the safety car when he went into the pit lane? I'm not sure, but that is a disqualification for the Sauber driver. He looked like he was on for a decent race, but now is all in tatters. So this bunches up the pack quite considerably. The top 8, in fact everyone now, has decided to pit under the safety car. Only 2 drivers that haven't opted for those medium compound. That's TTG Lambo and TTG Poe. So the 2 TTG drivers, that's not hard to say. Both deciding to pit for soft tyres. They won't be going to the end, so they'll have to pit at least once more. And nice to see the safety cars actually coming out, but I wonder if it'll come in this lap then. It's been 2 laps or so. Normally stays out for about 3, But it does actually vary on this game, which is nice to see. And the lights haven't gone off on the safety car yet, so I think we're going around for another lap. Yes, we are. So I think we've got a bit of chaos going on behind. No, just the two TTG guys deciding to pit. So, I don't know why, they did pit under the safety car for the soft tyres. They decided to go back onto the mediums, so that's a wasted pit stop, wasted track position for the two. So come round then for probably the fun lap of the safety car. And all getting that last bit of heat into the tyres before it's too late and before they scramble with no tyre temps on the safety car restart, which really would be pretty catastrophic. We know that really does make a factor against the AI on offline, but does make a difference online as well if you don't heat up your tyres as well as the people around you. As Lewis has been given 5 seconds up go for a severe collision with our second place man, championship contender McSendit in his Sauber. Has he got damage? That's the big question, McSendit. I'm not sure, but we're underway. We're getting get ready to go underway now. The safety car's peeling off into the pit lane. Like when you're peeling your vegetables to get ready to make a lovely casserole on a Saturday afternoon. So Lewis goes very wide on his exit. The DRS has been disabled, so I'm not sure why, but he does lead the pack going into turn 1. Neo goes very wide on the exit of there. That's going to give him a penalty, as does Quintera do the same thing. So a lot of drivers getting too hot under the collar right as the race gets back underway under green flag conditions. What about McSendit then? McSendit, is he going to try to go down the inside? No, he doesn't. So nothing's changed from before the safety car, now after the safety car. It's all the same. McSendit struggling to go for the move on Neo. Sorry, Lewis. Mitch unable to make the move on McSendit as of yet. June gets past Ollie. Marquez is he out? I'm not sure. I do apologise for being slightly downbeat today. Got a bit of a headache, sore throat coming on, so not feeling the greatest I've ever have. But anyway, we'll get back underway. Lewis, again, he can't, no matter what he does, he's never going to get outside that 1 second DRS range from McSendit, unless McSendit makes a mistake. Again, no move from McSendit. Again, no move from Mitch. And again, just deadlock really. Neither driver can get past them. Can never get a good enough run going onto the parabolica, and it's never a good enough run to make the move into that hairpin at turn 7. Well, we normally see most of the overtaking moves being made, not quite that today. In fact, I think we saw more moves in real life than we have today, which is normally quite rare. But Drivers struggling to actually execute the move that they're trying to attempt to make. Extend it. In fact, he's even further back on Lewis now. Ooh, as we've got a bit of a battling going on behind between Rick, TTG Ollie and TTG Poe at the front. Again, no moves. Come on, give us a bit of action, you three. I know two of you are title rivals, but the other one, Lewis, you could do a bit more. And again, you're in the lead. Anyway, Rick gets past Poe. And it stays like that. Killer Blue is out. So what's gone on with Killer Blue? I can see a Red Bull front wing strewn across the race circuit, but I cannot see any Renault debris strewn across the race circuit. I'm going to stumble over Marques's to see if he passes the incident. And I can't see anything now. No, nothing. So maybe just press retire. I don't know why I do that way. But anyway. Extend it. Again, doesn't go for it. It's been the same for the past 15 laps now. Gary and June, two very well considered veterans in Precision Racing League, going at it in their respective Force Indias and Williams. This was 3 or 4 seasons ago. We'd probably see these two fighting for the victory. How times have changed. We've got obviously Neo, who's also been in here for a long time. Mitch as well, but it's McSender and Lewis, the top two, who have almost the new young cubs to this season. Although certainly not letting these veterans show them up. In fact, they're showing the veterans up at this stage. But McSender is a bit closer than he's been before by about half a tenth. Whether that will make the difference or not, I'm not sure, but we're going to stay on board with him. And actually, he's a bit closer this time. But again, to the outside, this time he's ahead into braking zone. Lewis with, well, I hate to bring the assist excuse, but with ABS managing to outbrake him. But Mitch has now got past McSender, so McSender really needs these points on Mitch. But Mitch is now all of a sudden gaining points on the Sauber. Very easy. Well, no, clinical move we'll say from Mitch, not easy. And now it's the Mercedes' turn to try and get past Lewis, who's defending pretty well, it seems. I am pretty sure Mitch does not have a penalty, so the only driver in the top 3 that does not have a 3-second time penalty or more due to exceeding track limits. Don't forget, Lewis had that 5-second stop-go penalty for the collision with McSender under the safety car conditions. So that will come into play later. That could get removed though by the stewards post-race. Mitch, I still think he's using higher wings than his rivals. Doing the same as McSender, just not really going for it down the inside. It's a shame that Lewis is using ABS, because probably mean you could go for a bit more moves, but Mitch is right on the back of Lewis. And he's going to go down the inside of the Renault. And he gets move done. Mitch, 2 clinical moves in 2 laps. Showing how it's done. And now he's gaining 10 points on his rival, McSender. So that's, well, he's showing McSender how it's done, really. Showing up and showing perhaps why. He's perhaps the better driver this weekend, at least. So Mitch Emery leads then. I still think he's using slightly higher wings, so I think it could be a bit easier for the likes of Lewis and Extendit to get closer to him. He's going to open the DRS, he's going to put it in high ERS mode, and he's going to have the ABS as well to assist him. Is he going to dummy him? No, they're all doing the same thing. Very interesting. And again, no moves from either of the top three on this lap. Lewis close to Mitch, and surely a move soon is on the cards. Is gaining on Mitch, but just the same to all the previous laps. That's a bit of contact though, and that could be a bit of damage to the Renault. Mitch kind of being shocked, I imagine, as he probably felt a thump on his rear end and wasn't expecting it, and this is probably going to be now damage for Lewis. Maybe not, somehow not. It was such a big bit of contact, so I don't know how he's not got it. Oh, Lewis almost doing a bit of a Sebastian Vettel into Sachs curve there. Mitch, after Lewis just making the mistake just there with hitting his rear end, is now starting to pull away, and when Sendit does make the move, it will probably be quite an easy one. About 5 laps ago these were battling for the lead, now they're battling for second. And just reading the chat at the moment, Lee and Marquez is not meeting eye to eye at this stage. Oh, Lewis, that's a mistake into turn 1, and is too far back to make any move on Mitch into turn 3. Neo kind of staying with the top 3, not falling back too much. Again, no moves at the front. Just a quick note, Michael, you may have noticed in the Ferrari, is not racing today. That is due to him competing at a VGIA esports event. So very good luck to him. I think he's already done it. He's in Spain, so doing very well for himself. Remember, used to race with him in the same esports team as him, alongside Mitch as well. And look where he's got now and where I am. I'm no longer racing, so that kind of shows how my F1 esports career has gone in the past half a year or so, but clearly not meant for me. But anyway, very well done to Michael for getting so far in the esports industry now. And I certainly wish him best of luck in the future. He's not old enough to compete in the official F1 esports though. As of yet, I think he will be able to next year, or if not the year after, but I think he's already ready for it, you know. He's very quick, very clean, and very consistent as well. As the top three, all just the same as it has been for the past 20 laps. Lewis is close to Mitch, but again, just not going for any moves. No moves then, yet again, no moves for the past few laps. Lewis not close enough again this time, got yellow flags in sector 3, not sure what for. It's Quintera, he DNFs. Another disappointing weekend from him. He certainly has the pace to do well, just not being able to execute it, it seems. Yellow flags in sector 1 and sector 2, no idea what's for. Lewis has fallen off from the back of Mitch McSendit, again not close enough to Lewis in the Renault. Actually, Lewis has got a much better run. He's closer than he's ever been. Will he go for it? No, he doesn't. Oh, Mitch goes very wide though, he outbrakes himself, and he's side by side with McSendit. McSendit can't get past as Mitch got the better exit out of there. And all of a sudden Lewis leads. Not really an overtake, more of a picking up the pieces, if you like. And into the lead, but obviously with that 5-second stop go, which will turn into a 5-second penalty for the end of the race. So it's Mitch's for the time being. Send it will be in second at the moment. Mitch will be wanting that win back, I'm sure. That lead, but be far too back in this occasion. Even if you're 1/10 back, they seem to not be going for the moves, let alone 3 or 4/10 back. But Jim and Gary seem to have caught up a little bit, but no moves all down the field. As I said earlier, I do apologise for being slightly lacklustre on commentary, but I know I'm usually a lot more energetic, but hopefully next week. It's been a very unimpressive Grand Prix, I hate to say. They're all very close, but never making any moves, even if they're half a tenth behind. On board with Mitch into turn 1, avoiding those penalties once again, doing a very good job at doing that. Mitch, again, no surprise, not going for a move. Will Mitch be close enough to go for a move finally? Down the Parabolica straight. Well, Lewis will just defend the inside, Mitch will go to the outside. And no moves once again. No driver is making any moves at the moment. And it looks like they are not willing to go for moves either. This is where at this stage I really need a co-commentator to help me. But I do apologise for the commentary today. It's not been amazing at all. In fact, it's been pretty awful, but it's been an okay race. But just drivers don't seem to be wanting to go for the moves. Dream now, all of a sudden, could be a contender for this. Mitch is close again, but it's going to be same old, same old. Yeah, no move. It's all very well and good being very close, but just if there's no moves being made, then there's, you know, not really any point of them being close. But believe this is the final race before the Christmas break. So on behalf of everyone at PRL, we obviously wish you a very Merry Christmas, and we'll see you at some point early January. Of course, New Year's Eve, New Year's obviously just a few days after Christmas, so no races between 25th and the 31st. Mitch, again, won't be close enough. Nor will McSend it on Mitch, nor will Doom on McSend it, nor will Gary on Doom, nor will Poe on Gary. I feel he must be saving it for the very last lap. So maybe a move will be made on this final lap, but they're also very close. Mitch probably knows about the penalties of Lewis and the penalties of McSend it behind, as obviously you can ask Jeff. So coming on to the final lap now, the crowd cheering as they go around the final corner for the penultimate time. Will they finally give us a bit of action, a bit of overtaking? Will it be the same for the past 30 laps, staying behind? Will he go for it? No. Meanwhile though, behind we got Poe and Gary. Poe down the inside of the Force India, and that's move done against Gary. Gary may come back in though. Into here, that's side by side. Wow, great battling between these two for P5. Not quite sure that'll be at the end, but no, it's Poe that finally makes that move. Lewis with this big lot of penalties is going to really be demoted downwards. But Lewis, for the final time on this German Grand Prix, comes across the line to win on track, but it's going to be quite far down for the actual thing. But McSend it wins. Oh wow, that's good for him, and that is also good for the championship battle, closing it up. And a win for McSend it, finally making up some good points on Mitch Emery. It's kind of either gained 3 and then lost 3 and then gained 5, but this time he's gained 7 on Mitch. Really what he needs. Lewis has actually managed to keep P3, so clearly those penalties from the drivers behind has helped him. But McSend it wins then in his Sauber. The American driver is doing anything to claw onto this championship battle with Mitch. And that is it then for the German Grand Prix. McSend it wins, Mitch Emery in second, Lewis in third. Rick with a good result, the only driver not to get a penalty in this race. Really good from him, and he's my driver of the day, just so you know. No penalties, started 11th, now 4th. He is my driver of the day. TTG Poe in 5th with Gary in 6th and Neo 7th. Doom 8th, Lambo 9th and Ollie 10th, and then everyone else has either left, retired, or just DNF'd in any other way. Marquez's Cantera, Killer Blue, Lee Finley, Maxi, Kalik and Spina, all the DNF'ers. For the German Grand Prix, well, I'll see you after Christmas for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Having a slightly earlier summer break, like in real life, but this summer winter break, and slightly earlier on, not after Hungary, but after Germany. And Hungary will be the first race back. And I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. That was the German Grand Prix, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.